After my girlfriend's first love was rescued from a scam compound, she would drop everything to take care of him the moment he felt even slightly unwell. When I objected, my girlfriend Samantha said dismissively, "He was beaten and covered in scars over there. His mind is already fragile. What's the big deal about giving him some slack?" To please him, she gave him the watch I'd just bought for over $100,000. She let him pick clothes from my walk-in closet and stole my credit card for her first love to use. She even slept with him behind my back, claiming it was to heal him. When I caught them, she was completely nonchalant. "Ian's just too wound up. I was just helping him release some tension." Later, I indulged her sympathy for her first love and happily married the one that got away. And she was the one who went insane. I came home early and walked in on my girlfriend Samantha Reed and her first love, Ian Holt, tangled up naked on my bed. Ian was the first to see me standing at the bedroom door, my face dark with rage. He turned beet red, shoved Samantha away in a panic, and fell off the bed, scrambling to a corner. He hugged his arms, buried his head, and started muttering to himself, I didn't mean to. Don't hit me. Please don't hit me, sob." Samantha, who had been looking blissful just a moment before, snapped out of it and immediately rushed over to comfort Ian. "Ian, it's okay. No one's blaming you. Don't beat yourself up." Stop biting your arm. You're hurting yourself. Let go, please. A woman's strength is no match for a man's. Seeing Ian hurting himself, Samantha stood up, ran over to me still completely naked, and without a word slapped me hard across the face. She screamed at me, "Sincere Clark, what the hell is wrong with you? Weren't you supposed to be at work? Why did you come back early? Look what you've done to Ian. You terrified him. Get over there and apologize to him right now." I stood my ground and she couldn't budge me. A fire of fury had been building in me, and her attitude just poured gasoline on it. I had nothing nice to say. Me, apologize? Shouldn't you be the one explaining this to me? You're my girlfriend living in my house. You bring your first love here, which is bad enough, but then I catch you doing this, and I'm the one who has to apologize to him. On what grounds? But Samantha acted as if I were the one being unreasonable. She lectured me, "What is wrong with you? I've told you so many times Ian was tricked and held in that scam compound for days. You have no idea what they did to him. He was on the verge of a complete mental breakdown when he got back. He's finally doing a little better, and I just saw that he was too tense, so I was helping him relax. What more is there to explain?" I laughed, a bitter, angry sound. I raised my hand and slapped her right back across the face. "Samantha," I said, my voice filled with disappointment, "you've disappointed me more than I can say." Just then, Ian rushed over, pulling Samantha behind him protectively. His eyes were red as he stared at me, his voice trembling and choked with tears. "Sincere, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have touched Sam. I was just so scared of being back in that compound. It was Sam who patiently guided me, who gave me warmth and helped me accept this new life. I kicked him squarely in the stomach. I spat on the floor and looked at the two scumbags. "Disgusting," I snarled. "I never want to see either of you again. By the time I get back, you'd better be out of my house." I slammed the door on my way out and called my best friend. "Leo, come drink with me." At the bar, I poured glass after glass of liquor down my throat. My phone kept vibrating in my pocket. I finally picked it up. It was Samantha. "Sincere, can you please stop throwing a tantrum? I'll send Ian away. I promise he won't stay in our house anymore. I know you care, but I have no choice. His mental state." I didn't want to hear another word about Ian. I hit the red button and chugged straight from the bottle. Leo Fisher snatched the bottle from my hand. "Clarky, man, what the hell happened with you and Samantha? You're so pissed off. I haven't seen you this messed up in forever. You've already downed a case of beer since you got here. You're scaring me, man." Leo's concern was the release I needed. The alcohol had loosened my tongue, and all the resentment I'd bottled up came pouring out. I grabbed him, venting all my frustrations. Think about it. When I was first pursuing Samantha, I knew she was insecure, so I gave her my entire paycheck, keeping just $500 for myself. For 3 years I never bought myself any clothes over $100, but I let her use my money to buy designer bags worth tens of thousands. Her brother Derek? No education, no skills. He's a moocher who just leeches off his parents and talks big. A total lost cause. To stop her mom from draining her dry to support him, I had to pull so many strings and swallow my pride, calling in every favor I had just to get him that cushy office job he has now, with full benefits, room and board. When her parents were sick in the hospital, I was the one who worked all day and then hired a caregiver. After work, I'd cook and bring food to the hospital to look after them myself. Samantha didn't have to lift a finger. I took care of everything, and now I'm financially independent. I haven't let it go to my head. I don't smoke, I drink in moderation, I have no bad habits. I bought a house, a car, and then she feels sorry for her first love who got scammed. I get that. But why does she have to push it? She let him move into my house, fine. But then she takes my clothes and my prized watches for him to wear, without even asking. She knows those things are my favorites. And you know what? Every time I was about to get angry, she'd act all sweet, and I'd soften up. I'd think, maybe she's just too kind-hearted. But it was my endless forgiveness that led to me walking in on them, naked, rolling around in my bed today. And after I caught them, she demanded that I apologize to that guy. Why? With a crash, I smashed the bottle on the floor. It shattered, sending alcohol splashing everywhere. The mess on the ground looked just like my life right now, chaotic and broken. The manager came over. Leo, wanting to avoid a scene, told him, "My friend's just going through a bad breakup. He's a little upset. I'll pay for any damages. Sorry about that." The manager was understanding and set us up in a private booth. After Leo heard the whole story, he was just as furious as I was. A moment later, he shouted, "Holy crap, Clarky Samantha just posted a new story. This is so messed up. Look, I took the phone." Samantha had posted a selfie of her and Ian kissing under a sky of fireworks. The caption read, "Your life is meant to be brilliant. I'll be with you through this darkness." I realized she had blocked me. I couldn't take it anymore. I threw the phone, smashing it. My chest heaved, and I felt a knot in my throat so tight I could barely breathe. That night, I drank myself into the hospital with stomach bleeding. In a daze, I heard Leo on the phone with Samantha. Clarky drank himself into the hospital. "Aren't you even going to come see him?" There was a hint of concern in her voice, but not much. "What? Sincere went drinking again? Well, you stay with him and take good care of him. I can't leave. I have a patient here who needs me around the clock." Leo let out a cold laugh. "A patient? Or is it your little lover who won't let you go? You two are squatting in Clarky's house, using his things, sleeping in his bed. He's this heartbroken, and you won't even come see him. You're disgusting." After Leo said that, we heard a loud thud on the other end, followed by Samantha's scream. Then the line went dead. I passed out completely. In my dream, I was back when Samantha and I had just gotten together. We were inseparable then. There was a time I got a pay cut and was laid off, and the money I'd saved with her was almost gone. She secretly took out a loan to support us, getting us through a period where all we could afford was plain bread and thin porridge for every meal. She believed in me, convinced I could bounce back. She encouraged me every single day. Her unwavering belief was what kept me going. Later, I paid off her loan, and our lives got better and better. I was secretly planning to propose, but then Ian showed up and ruined all my plans. At first, when she brought Ian to our home, letting him wear my clothes and use my things, I tolerated it, because Samantha would say, "Don't you remember? You went through a dark period, too. You know what it's like to not have anyone by your side, how you can't find the light." But my tolerance only made them bolder. They even slept together right under my nose. Was that also a step toward finding the light? Back then, I had been so careful not to touch her, not wanting to burden her with my problems. The dream became more and more painful. Suddenly, I was jolted awake by a commotion, followed by someone hitting me on the chest. The pain snapped me awake. I opened my eyes to see Samantha, her own eyes red and swollen. She pointed at me, her voice full of accusation. "Sincere Clark, if you're angry, go drink. But why did you have to take it out on your friend and have him provoke Ian? He's in the hospital now, he's already in so much pain, why did you have to hurt him even more?" Tell me. Her fists rained down on my body and head. My head was already throbbing from the hangover. "Enough, Samantha," I shoved her away, exasperated. "Since you're so worried about your precious Ian, let's just break up. From today on, we're done. Block my number, and let's never see each other again. I've had enough." My words hung in the air. Samantha fell silent instantly. She panicked, her eyes welling up with hurt. You want to break up with me? Yes, no way. We love each other too much. You could never have the heart to break up with me." "I don't believe you." Right in front of her, I took out my phone, unlocked it, found her contact information, and blocked her everywhere. Then I went to my photo gallery. I deleted every picture of the two of us. To prove I was serious, I went into the recently deleted folder and permanently erased them all. My voice was flat. "Samantha, there is no us anymore." Samantha snatched the phone from my hand, trying to unblock herself, only to find I'd changed the password. "How could you change the password?" she demanded frantically. "You promised you'd always be completely open with me, Sincere. Please don't do this. I promise I won't bring Ian home again. I won't do anything inappropriate with him anymore. I won't make you angry again. Please, can't you just stop?" Wasn't she just blaming me for bullying her precious Ian? What was the meaning of this sudden change of heart? I stared into her eyes and asked seriously, "Then can you promise to never contact him again? Send him to a psychiatric hospital for treatment. They have professionals there. I'll cover all the costs." Samantha didn't even have to think. "Ian can't live without me," she blurted out. "I can agree to anything but that." Just as she finished speaking, her phone rang. She answered it and walked out of my hospital room without a second glance. Watching her go, I felt nothing but profound disappointment. I knew it was Ian again, having another one of his panic attacks, needing Samantha to be his guardian angel. The moment she walked out that door, my mind was made up. This relationship? I was done with it. Just then, Leo rushed in, looking panicked. "Clarky, look at this. I saw that Ian guy acting all sketchy and nervous. He threw this away and I picked it up. Man, you need to get yourself checked out now." It was Ian Holt's medical report. He was positive for syphilis and HIV. He was sick. I had read about this. A lot of people from those scam compounds carry infectious diseases. I had suggested to Samantha before that she take Ian to get a checkup, but she had gotten angry and yelled at me. What health problems could Ian possibly have? Stop trying to add to his burdens, okay? Back then, I was afraid of upsetting her, so I let it go. I never thought it would actually be true. Now, the thought of him lying on my bed, wearing my clothes, using my things, and the fact that Samantha was now tainted. Goosebumps erupted all over my skin. My scalp tingled. I gagged. I asked Leo to book me an appointment for a full screening. At the same time, I hired a professional cleaning and removal service to go to my home and throw everything out. I told them to burn it all. In one day, everything in the house, from luxury goods to furniture, was gone, leaving nothing but the bare walls. I listed the empty house for sale. It was in a great location, so I immediately got calls for viewings. I just gave the realtor my asking price and let him handle the rest. As for Samantha and Ian, they had moved out after our last fight, so they had no idea I was selling the house and erasing every trace of our life there. Everything from the large furniture to the small chopsticks, Samantha and I had chosen them together. Now I just felt that it was all filthy. Soon my test results came back, negative. A wave of relief washed over me. Truthfully, Samantha and I hadn't been intimate in a long time. First, I was busy with work. Second, after she took in Ian, she had no time for our relationship. We didn't even hold hands or kiss. "Samantha, you've made your bed. I can no longer force myself to accept your nonsense. This is the path you chose. When you find out the truth, I just hope you don't regret it." I checked out of the hospital and took a leave of absence from work. I mailed Samantha the matching promise rings we had bought and booked a flight to a mountain city, planning to hike and clear my head. I had just made it halfway up the mountain when Leo called. Samantha is looking for you like a crazy person. She got the rings you sent, found out you left the hospital, and then went to your office. When she couldn't find you, she called the cops. The police even came to my place to ask questions. Dude, she threatened me with a knife, demanded I tell her where you are, Leo complained. Bro, I risked my life and didn't rat you out. I'm thinking of taking a trip myself to avoid this bloodbath. You're paying. I hadn't expected Samantha's reaction to be so extreme. I was worried something might happen to Leo. I just sent $100,000 to your account, I said. Have fun. I heard the police had taken Samantha in for questioning and confiscated the knife, so Leo was safe. I didn't ask for more details. If this had been the old me, I would have rushed back in a panic to be by her side, begging her not to do anything foolish. Now I felt nothing. Not a single ripple in my heart. In fact, hiking up the mountain, my mood was surprisingly good. As I neared the summit, I saw a woman in the distance stumble and fall. She was near a cliff edge with only a single wooden railing. She crashed against it, her balance tipping backward. Just as she was about to fall, she grabbed onto a post. I sprinted over, grabbed her arm, and pulled her to safety. When we saw each other's faces, we both cried out at the same time. Victoria Vaughn. Sincere Clark. You. Of all the things to happen on a mountain hike, I'd run into Victoria Vaughn, the one that got away. We talked for a bit. It turned out both her parents had recently passed away, and she had come here to clear her head. She'd been lost in thought and twisted her ankle. I checked it. The sprain was serious. I took a cold compress patch from my backpack and applied it to her swollen ankle. I carried her on my back down the mountain. The path was long, and to ease the awkwardness, I started talking about our time in high school. Victoria was the top student in our school, the class president. I was the academic representative. I'd noticed her way back then. But she was completely focused on her studies. A few guys from the class next door had confessed their feelings to her, and she had rejected every one of them. Truthfully, I had wanted to confess too, but watching those guys approach her full of hope and leave disappointed, I buried my feelings deep down. Throughout high school, I just watched her from afar, amazed by her drive and dedication. Her passion for learning was infectious. It made me study harder. In a way, I only got into a good university because of her. I told her all these little secrets like it was just a story, not expecting any reply. It felt like fulfilling a long-held wish. But when I finished, Victoria, still on my back, said, "But Sincere, I've had a crush on you for years too. I've met many men, but you've taken up all the space in my heart. I've been single ever since." Her arms tightened slightly around my shoulders. She buried her face in my neck, her breath warm against my ear. Instantly, my ears turned bright red, and my heart began to pound. "Sincere, back in high school I could feel you watching me," she whispered. "How could you tell?" "Because it was so obvious, you dork. Back then I kept wondering when you were going to confess. I rejected everyone else, waiting for you. But right up until graduation, you never even sent me a single love letter, you silly fool." Hearing that, a sudden impulse surged through me. I carefully set her down on a stone bench, faced her, and said, "Then, let's get married." The moment the words left my mouth, I felt a pang of regret. It was too fast. My heart was pounding like a drum. Victoria just giggled. "Okay," she said, "but my parents just passed away, so the wedding might have to be postponed." "That's fine," I said. "As long as I can be with you, we can have the ceremony any time." It was settled just like that. After taking her to a clinic to get her ankle treated, we rested in the mountain town for a while. I told her everything about my last relationship. Getting married was already so sudden, I wanted to be completely honest about my past. To my surprise, Victoria wasn't bothered by the story of Samantha at all. "I don't care who you were with before," she said. "I only care about spending every day with you from now on." My house sold smoothly. I went back to handle the paperwork and, at the same time, get our marriage license. I could hardly believe it. I was actually marrying the one that got away. It felt like a dream. As I was leaving with Victoria, after signing the final contract with the buyer, we ran right into Samantha. Sincere, who is she? She blocked our path, her eyes full of suspicion and malice as she stared at our intertwined hands. Without warning, she lunged, trying to hit Victoria. I stepped in front, shielding Victoria behind me. I warned Samantha, keeping a safe distance. She is my wife. If you lay a hand on her, I swear I won't care that you're a woman. I will hit you back. Samantha looked at me in disbelief, shaking her head, her eyes turning red. Sincere, please don't be like this. I know you're angry about Ian, but you can't punish me like this, marrying another woman just to get back at me. She reached for me, and I pulled my hand away. My action was like a dagger to her heart. The tears finally spilled over, and she screamed at me. Sincere, why are you avoiding me? Why? I frowned, the image of Ian's medical report flashing in my mind. Because I find you filthy, I said bluntly. She thought I was talking about her sleeping with Ian. Her face went pale, her lips trembling. She stood there, wringing her hands. Sincere, that was only because Ian, he was in pain. I saw how much he was suffering. That's the only reason I agreed. Then she dropped to her knees in front of me. Sincere, if you think I'm dirty, I can go to a clinic. I'll get myself completely cleaned. I won't be dirty anymore. I took a step back in disgust. She shuffled forward on her knees. If you think I'm not as good as I used to be, and you want to be married to her, fine. I can accept her. We can have a secret arrangement, whatever you want. I'll be your servant. I'll do anything. Just please, don't abandon me. You have no idea. I've been going crazy looking for you. I know now that my world can't exist without you. She was getting closer, and I couldn't stand to hear another word. I took Victoria's hand and started to leave. But when Samantha saw that she couldn't win me back, she snapped. She ran into the middle of the street, straight into oncoming traffic. Ah, Victoria screamed, covering her ears. I turned and quickly covered her eyes. Luckily, the traffic light ahead had just turned red. There was no bloody scene, just the screech of tires as a car bumped into her, sending her sprawling to the ground. The shaken driver got out, and after confirming she wasn't seriously hurt, he exploded. What the hell, are you trying to pull an insurance scam? I have a dash cam, you're not getting a dime out of me. Samantha looked at me pitifully, but when she saw me protecting the woman in my arms, completely indifferent to her own injury, she looked even more devastated. In the past, if she'd so much as bruised herself on the corner of a table, I'd have frantically searched for ointment to treat it. She turned on the driver. Who wants your stupid money? Shut up. Can't I just die if I want to? She shouted the last part. It was clearly meant for me to hear. The driver was furious. He jumped up and down, yelling, You want to die? Go jump off a building or a bridge. Why do you have to throw yourself in front of my car? You want to die, but I don't want to die with you. You're trying to drag me down with you, you lunatic. I turned away, led Victoria to a taxi, and we left. Samantha tried to run after us, but her leg was injured from the collision. She couldn't walk. All she could do was watch us drive away, left to argue with the driver in the middle of the road. I didn't expect that just as I returned to work, Ian would show up. He was kneeling in the company lobby, chanting, Sincere Clark, I know you're jealous of how I'm taking care of Sam, but you can't use that as a reason to drive her to her death. She's lying at home right now, refusing treatment, refusing to eat. What will it take for you to stop tormenting her? Name your price. I'll do anything. He then started banging his head on the floor and pounding his own chest, putting on a show of self-harm. My boss, Mr. Davidson, sent someone to talk to him, then called me into his office. I quickly told him, Tell our colleagues not to touch him. He has HIV and syphilis. We should just call the police and let them handle it. Hearing this, Mr. Davidson immediately called the colleague back. No one paid Ian any more attention. Realizing his act wasn't working, he just stayed on the floor, wailing. When the police arrived, they took Ian away for disturbing the peace. But a video of Ian kneeling in my company's lobby, looking battered before being taken away by police, went viral online that same day. The caption claimed our company bullied the vulnerable and that we'd even had him arrested. Suddenly, our company's social media accounts were flooded with angry comments from netizens. This was a critical time for a major company project. Mr. Davidson called me into his office. "Sincere," he began, "I know you've contributed a lot to this company, but now your personal affairs are affecting us. As you know, we just landed a huge project, and we can't afford any mistakes. Look, out of respect for your years of service, we'll give you a severance package of $50,000 plus 3 months' salary. It's time for you to find something new." "Mr. Davidson, I can handle this," I pleaded. He just waved his hand dismissively. "You can't. You've brought too much trouble to the company. You need to think of the collective." Looking at him, I readily accepted. For years, I had been so successful that I'd threatened his position. I knew he'd been looking for a reason to get rid of me for a long time. This was just the perfect excuse. I figured he was probably the one who had the video posted online in the first place. Whatever. I was already planning to move to a warmer region with Victoria anyway. After finishing my resignation procedures at the company, I was at home packing when Samantha's mother, Agnes Reed, showed up. She pointed at Victoria and shrieked, "Sincere, you must have been bewitched by this vixen. My daughter is such a good person. No matter what mistake she made, you can't just abandon her and marry this thing. She's lying at home right now on a hunger strike, just repeating your name over and over. Won't you just go see her?" Victoria didn't like Agnes's tone. "It was your daughter who was in the wrong first," she retorted. "If they weren't right for each other, why can't he be with me? We're talking here. Who gave you permission to speak? Did I say you could talk, you wench?" Agnes raised her hand to strike, but I swiftly pulled Victoria by the waist, dodging the blow. Agnes lunged into empty air and fell flat on the floor. "Au dawi," she cried out. I held up my phone and started recording her. "You fell on your own, you know. You can't blame us. This has nothing to do with us, so don't go saying later that we pushed you." Agnes clutched her back, groaning in pain. "Sincere Clark, how can you treat me like this? Aren't you afraid my daughter will hate you?" "I treated your family so well and she still managed to betray me," I said flatly. "What else is there to be afraid of? Don't ever come looking for me again. If you do, I'll report you for harassment." When the police arrived, Agnes realized she wasn't going to get anything from me and left, muttering curses under her breath. Victoria and I moved south. Neither of us liked the cold, and apart from the humidity and summer heat, the weather there was perfect for us year-round. After we got married, we pooled our money and opened a guest house. We had specifically sought out a unique location for it. The area was surrounded by mountains, and our guest house was situated halfway up one of them. Looking down from there, you had a commanding view of the smaller peaks, a perfect place for a vacation. The previous owner had already renovated it before moving abroad, so all we had to do was buy some bedding and supplies, and we were open for business. After posting pictures and videos online, we attracted a lot of young people who came seeking us out. Samantha, who had been tracking me down, showed up at our guest house. Seeing her again, she had changed a lot. She looked years older, and because she hadn't gotten proper medical treatment for her leg, she now walked with a noticeable limp. "Sincere, I was the one who did something wrong. You can blame me, but why did you have to drag Ian and my mother into it?" Her words made me laugh again, that same bitter laugh. "Who was bullying whom exactly?" I shot back. "Your precious first love came to my company, kneeling and spouting nonsense, and got me fired. Your mother tried to assault my wife and then fell over because she's old and unsteady, and you're blaming that on me too? What kind of logic is that?" My words stopped her cold. I cut her off before she could speak again. "Look, if you came all this way to rehash this nonsense, you can leave now. Don't interfere with my business. I don't have time to get entangled with you. I'm very busy." She grabbed the corner of my shirt. "Sincere, that's not what I mean. I've realized I can't live without you." I instinctively shook her off. I pulled out a wet wipe and an alcohol pad and scrubbed furiously at the spot she had touched. Deciding it still wasn't clean enough, I took out a pair of scissors and cut off the corner of my shirt she had touched. Samantha stared at me in utter disbelief. You're that disgusted by me? I'm not even disgusted that you're married to another woman, and I still came to get you back. How can you treat me like this? At that moment, I finally snapped. I looked her dead in the eye, took out my phone, opened the gallery, and found the photo I had saved. I held it in front of her face. Because I'm disgusted that you slept with a diseased man. Samantha, think about it. You were so good to your first love, but he knew he was sick and still kept it from you while he lived with you. That's the man you were so desperate to protect, the one you said was so fragile he needed constant companionship. He is evil to the core, a master of playing the victim. You must have had rocks in your head to choose him, to hurt me just to take care of someone like that. You chose this path, so you have to accept that I never want to see you again. You can't just demand things you can no longer have. Samantha, I'll say it one more time. I want a normal life, and I don't want to see you ever again. So please, do me a favor and stay far away from my life. Samantha couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her whole body began to tremble with fear. To confirm the truth, she ran to a hospital for a blood test. While waiting for the results, she was a bundle of nerves, tense and anxious, muttering to herself that it wasn't true. When she received the report, and it showed a positive result, her entire world collapsed. A nurse saw her standing there, stunned, and thought something was wrong. She walked over to check on her. When her eyes fell on the results, her expression became a mixture of concern and revulsion. But professionalism compelled her to speak. "Ma'am, the doctor is calling your number. You can go in for your consultation now." Samantha snapped back to reality, mumbled a thank you, and stumbled toward the doctor's office. She accidentally bumped into someone rushing past, and the test report fell to the floor. The person who had bumped her immediately apologized and bent down to help pick it up. The next second, the person screamed and threw the report at her. HIV and syphilis, oh my God, am I going to be infected? Samantha never imagined they would notice the words on the paper. After the shout, everyone in the vicinity scrambled away, leaving a perimeter of several meters around her. That's so disgusting. She looks like such a pretty woman, but she has those diseases. I bet she's a prostitute. Oh God, I was just sitting right next to her. I need to go home and shower right now. The comments from the people around her were too much to bear. Samantha fled the hospital in a panic. All the way, tears streamed down her face, endless and unstoppable. She took the first flight home. She burst through the door. Ian, seeing her back, frantically hid his phone behind his back, a look of surprise on his face. "Sam, didn't you say you were on a business trip? How are you back so soon?" Samantha lunged, snatched the phone from his hand, and ran into the bedroom, locking the door. Ian pounded on it furiously from the outside. When she scrolled through Ian's chat history, she slid down the back of the door in complete despair. It was a group chat. Everyone in it was HIV positive. They were sharing their daily conquests. Ian, ha ha ha, that silly fool is on a business trip. I secretly went to a hotel with a college girl. One more successfully infected. Ian, why should I be the only one to suffer through that hell? Seeing them so happy, so healthy, it makes me sick with jealousy. Before I die, I'll drag down as many as I can with me. Ian, the world won't let me be happy, so I won't let the world be beautiful. No one gets a happy ending. Ian, my plan is to infect 1,000 people before I die. I'm at 200 so far. Gotta keep up the good work. As soon as that fool is gone again, I'll start lining up more. Each message was a sharp blade, stabbing into Samantha, leaving her covered in wounds. The knocking outside stopped. The anxious voice was replaced by a sickly sweet tone. "Sam, you know everything now, don't you?" "Surprise, hee. This is the special gift I prepared for you both. To make sure you'd be blessed with the same lucky disease as me, I even spat in your milk. Isn't that exciting? Welcome to our world." Samantha finally broke. She smashed the phone and everything else around her. "Ian, you monster," she threw open the door. Ian was standing there, admiring her breakdown. "Perfect," he said, a look of appreciation on his face. "Yes, that's the emotion. It's just like how I was back then." "Ian, why would you do this to me?" Samantha shrieked. "To take care of you, the love of my life, left me your... Where is your conscience?" "Conscience? I lost my conscience in that compound, back when those animals were torturing me. Do you have any idea what it's like to have them pull out your fingernails and stick toothpicks into the raw flesh underneath? The pain. Even thinking about it now, it hurts so much. They forced me to eat feces from the toilet. When I was thirsty, they made me drink their urine. Do you know how disgusting that tastes? They even beat me bloody with a rebar stained with the blood of the person they'd just beaten. Do you know how many people that thing had touched?" Samantha covered her ears, crouching on the floor. Stop it. Stop talking, I don't want to hear it." Ian pried her hands from her ears, pinning her wrists and pushing her to the ground. He smiled, a dark, twisted grin. "No, you love hearing me talk, don't you? The moment I'm uncomfortable, you come running to my side. How could you not want to listen? You're lying." "Little Sam, I'm feeling uncomfortable again. Won't you help me?" "Ehe." Ian started pulling off her clothes. She struggled, but it was useless. She was no longer the willing participant she had once been, actively undressing for him. The more he forced himself on her, the more she fought back in terror. This finally infuriated him. He dug his knee into her chest, pinning her with his full weight. He slapped her face with both hands again and again, until her mouth and nose were bleeding. Lost in his sadistic rage, Ian stared down at her. "If you keep resisting, I'll hit you even harder, you know. I learned a lot of new tricks over there." As if to prove his point, he grabbed a small stool from nearby and smashed it into her mouth several times. Her front teeth all came out. Samantha was in too much pain to speak, only able to sob and whimper. Ian had gone completely insane. After he was done tormenting her, he discovered she had tried to run away. He caught her just in time, dragged her back home by her hair, and to punish her for her disobedience, he took a pair of pliers and pulled out her fingernails one by one. The torture lasted for 3 days. When Agnes Reed received the call from the police telling her that her daughter was dead, she didn't believe it. When she arrived at the scene and saw Samantha's body, not a single patch of skin left unharmed, she fainted from shock. When she woke up, her mind had begun to unravel. As for Samantha's brother, Derek, he couldn't have cared less about his sister's death. When told to handle the funeral arrangements, he found the cheapest all-in-one cremation service. To save money on a burial plot, he had her ashes buried at the base of a large tree to serve as fertilizer. Ian was apprehended by the police as he was about to prey on his next victim. He was sentenced to death. Due to the extreme severity of the case, it was widely reported online, sparking a massive public discussion. Many people became more aware of predators who use the pretense of romance to harm others. After hearing the news, numerous potential victims began to re-evaluate their own situations, noticed red flags in their pursuers, and reported them to the police, leading to a wave of arrests.